on fire. Discovered on fire in the middle of London Street in broad daylight. Retired construction worker John Nolan was found in flames in Tottenham, North London at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Now, I did read and I have heard about human combustion, and I did just type in human combustion or spontaneous human combustion, and the story actually came up, you know, of the wee old guy. But I have seen that this is what's strange. So I've got on my channel phenomenology, yeah, and it does say that human combustion is a phenomenon, but a phenomenon is to do with someone, like an experience. Like, have you ever had any food that is just phenomenal, like, or anything else in that case, something that is a personal experience? I don't know anybody that is spontaneously human combust and lived to tell the story. Do you know what I mean? But what I have read into is that it does happen with the elderly. It is with the elderly, and it happens to alcoholics, a lot of alcoholics and stuff. Now, I'm not a fucking genius or anything, but I know that a lot of Irishmen, Scottishmen, Englishmen, many men, even many women, have failed the alcohol. And he was an old man, so I am being open to that. But this is what's very strange when you read on. So the 70-year-old was airlifted to hospital but later died of severe burns. Now, if he exploded into human combustion, he would have died on the spot. He would be dead instantly, because it starts from the inside out. So if you read about human combustion, it usually happens with people that drink alcohol, and not just alcohol, like whiskey and pure alcohol, and people that smoke, people that like chain smoke. And but the thing is, just read on here. So severe burns, he actually didn't die of the actual, like, the explosion, because you could die from the combustion, you know what I mean? See these people that have been found dead with human combustion, their hands and feet fall off and all. It's mental. So members of the public had tried to help the firefighters manage to put out the blaze. So there was people actually trying to put this guy out. So if he was like human combustion, like I have read into it a lot, apparently it lasts a couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean? It's a slow thing. It seems that this guy just burst in the flames, but detectives are still baffled about Mr Nolan set alight, how Mr Nolan was set alight. So these detectives that are actually professionals at actually detecting stuff, they I'm sure they have came across human combustion before, but they don't seem to highlight that. But I'm sure they can't say it straight away just out of protocol and stuff. You don't just. But specialist investigators from London Fire Brigade say they have found no accelerant on his body. Now, I did look up accelerant, and accelerant is like something to accelerate you, you know, like petrol or alcohol. But there was no accelerant on his body. Now that is very strange. Now, as it said, human combustion usually occurs with, I don't even want to show you some of the images. There's images up here of human combustion, and there's nothing left. because the combust, it's like having a balloon and somehow causing it to light from the inside. It's just going to explode, and that's what happens to your abdomen, apparently, according to these bloody detectives that have looked and observed, tested and studied these corpses that they've burned very, very quickly. So there was no accelerant on his body, meaning he wasn't doused in petrol or other flammable liquids. A postmortem in September gave cause to the death as severe burns, and an inquest is due to take place in March next year. So I will be keeping an ear out and an eye out for any other news and updates on the family. But of course, this isn't just any story, a cool story. This is somebody died here. Somebody burst into flames. There was no accelerant found on his body. No accelerant. That's like saying a guy was shot dead, but there was no trace of a bullet, no trace of a gun, no, you know what I mean? It's very strange. So Mr Nolan was originally from County Mayo, living in a flat in Tottenham, close to where he was found on fire. His brother Kerr, Jimmy Nolan, 68, so he's a couple of years younger. A builder who also lives in London appealed for information about Nolan's death. So imagine your brother just burst into flames. Of course you're going to go and say to the police, what the hell happened? Tell me what the hell happened. But they can't say anything yet. But I understand why. But because it's just with this whole thing about, like, you just can't jump the assumptions, you know what I mean? But in September he told Hackney Gazette, I was in awful shock. I couldn't believe what had happened. We can only say one thing. We don't know what happened. So obviously this is probably what the police said. We just don't know what happened. You know, detectives of Hackney CD are continuing to investigate, but no arrests have been made, and this death is currently being treated as unexplained. So, PC Damien Atmar said, we have spoken with a number of witnesses who saw Mr Nolan the blaze, and we have yet to establish how the fire started. So you can tell that these detectives are asking these witnesses, you know, how did the blaze start? And of course these people weren't walking down the street keeping their eye out for a man who's going to burst on flames. But I'm sure if anybody's seen this happening in the street, you wouldn't know what the hell happened. But it's crying out paranormal, and all what paranormal really means is something that happens that is not normal. Like somebody bursting into fucking flames, and there's no petrol, there's no alcohol, no accelerant, no nothing. But they are going to investigate, so the investigation is still ongoing. So I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but this is absolutely mental. So Mr Nolan was well liked and a member of the community, and none of the inquiries have indicated that he had been involved in any dispute of any sort. So no one had been after him or anything, nor does any account given by witnesses suggest that he had been in contact with any other person at the time of the fire. So you can tell he was probably standing on his own or something. I'm not too sure, but crazy story. I just thought I would share that before I go to bed. So peace and sleep well.